Good evening from Queen's Park. The Ford government introduces its very first budget. Here it is. No major slashing in these pages that we can see right now, but it is actually spending 1% more than the Liberal government did last year. Now, there's not a whole lot more money for education or health care, and this could be setting the stage for a war with teachers. If you're a parent, there's something in here for childcare costs for you. And if you like your vices, well, this is also being dubbed the party budget because it's going to make it easier for you to enjoy your alcohol. So, lots to look at. We begin. Oh, wait, I wanted to show you one more thing. This is what the new license plates will look like. Now, our City News coverage begins on this budget and how this government is spending your money.
Today, we are presenting the first budget of our government's mandate, a plan for the people, by the people, and most importantly, a plan that puts the people first.
Finance Minister Vic Fedeli introduced the first Conservative budget in 15 years today. The Premier had been promising it would not be a slash-and-burn document, and it doesn't appear to be. It will reduce the deficit by $1.4 billion to $11.7 billion. Ford had campaigned on balancing the budget by the fourth year of his mandate. Now, the Conservatives are promising to do it by year 5.
Minister, the Premier campaigned on being able to easily find $6 billion in efficiencies. Is this budget an acknowledgement that it actually wasn't so easy after all?
Well, the Premier campaigned on finding 4 cents on every dollar, and in fact, we've been able to find almost 8 cents on every dollar spent.
That 8-cent savings is a 5-year projection, though. And here's the confusing part. The government is calling it a savings, but it's really money the Liberals had planned to spend, and the PCs just aren't going to spend it. Ironically, the Premier is a teetotaler, but he's making it easier for you to imbibe. Bars and restaurants will be able to serve alcohol at 9 a.m., and municipalities will have the power to allow drinking in parks. The government will also make it easier to gamble by buying lottery tickets or place sports bets on your smartphone.
This is both reasonable and responsible. It's also a budget that contains no new tax increases. Not one.
There is some relief for low-income people and those with children, including free dental care for seniors who earn less than $19,300, a child care rebate based on income of up to $6,000 for families with a youngster under 7, for those in a household earning up to $150,000. And the estate administration tax would be eliminated for estates with assets of $50,000 or less. As for spending, these pages show it's slowing down or facing cuts, depending on the ministry. Health spending will grow from $62 billion to $65 billion in the next 3 years. Education spending is frozen for next year, suggesting there's no new money for teacher contracts, which expire in August. Now, the other parties are very quick to condemn this budget. We'll start with their reaction, starting with NDP leader Andrea Horwath, who's calling it cruel.
They're slashing $1 billion out of children and community and social services. They're cutting in half the Indigenous Affairs budget. They are not even funding, but they're funding about a half of what the hospitals asked for in terms of enough money just to keep a broken hospital system afloat. I don't know how anybody can look at this budget and think it's not bad.
Doug Ford has inflated the size of the deficit to create a context for cuts that are going to hurt.
If you look through this budget, it mentions booze and gambling 63 times. It mentions climate change 15 times, and it mentions poverty 0 times. It says a lot about the priorities of the Ford government.
As always, the most shocking number in this budget, and every budget so far in this province lately, is the debt. And this year it comes in at, wait for it, a shocking $343 billion. It costs $500 million alone just to service the interest. Now, the government is promising a debt burden reduction strategy and to report on it annually. And the cost-cutting Conservatives actually saved money printing this budget. They say they only printed half of it, and that would save $48,000.